Oh no, the sky is falling. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Night of the Shield. I'm Jason Smith, aka The Knight, and we're talking free agency, man. I'm a little late to the train. I have an 8 to 5. I can't be the breaking news guy or be on here giving my thoughts right off the top, but there's a lot of things that have been happening in the 2 days of legalized tampering, if you call it. Everything will be official tomorrow, but there's three things I really want to get into. And then there's some other stuff that to be honorable mentions, like, Michael Epps, Teamer, Parker, those types of moves. I think that, they're just doing their due diligence. There's certain boxes that need to be checked. Nothing too fancy, nothing too overly outstanding that you're going to be running and hitting the button to record every move that is made. I've been there. I've done that. I'm not doing that no more. The thing I want to get to the most is, you saw at the beginning of this video, I feel like Chicken Little. I feel like the sky is falling. I don't know what we're going to do. Everything is just so unoptimistic. Everything is falling apart. What are we going to do, nation? Been here so many times. Every year I do when optimism meets reality, right? When everybody's optimism meets reality. When something happens and we get so excited and the nation can't stop just telling everybody we're going to go to the Super Bowl, we're going to be unstoppable, and every single year it just falls, right? It just falls. Nothing big. Every time we do a big flashy move, it's like, this is it. This is what we needed. Remember last year when we got Devontae? Right before that, we were like, they ain't doing nothing. Then they signed Devontae, and then all of a sudden there was fireworks and all these warm, fuzzy feelings. Everything they did after that just made the most sense. Chandler Jones. Yeah. I'm not there, man. I'm not there. And I haven't been there for years. Okay. And as a fan, it's very hard to calm down your optimism. It took me a long time to just swallow that chill pill and just be like, look, nothing done, good or bad, in opinionated point of view, right? In your opinionated point of view, good, bad, whatever, does not matter unless it translates into wins and at least a playoff berth, especially when it comes to this franchise, right? A playoff berth at this point would be a huge victory for this franchise. And it's way too early to even honestly, even logically say that this team is headed in that direction. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the three moves I want to talk about, because I really don't want to spend too much time. Again, time is of the essence. I got some things I got to do, but I really wanted to get some thoughts out there and do my part, either to throw water on one side to cool it off and then maybe light a match and throw it on the gas side on the other for those who need that to be inspired, to be mad and upset and what have you. I'm just going to be that dude that's chilling in the middle for a little bit, trying to figure it out, waiting for all things to drop, because this hasn't even just barely got started, right? Let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. Jimmy G, how do I feel about that? Well, if you ask in my entire family, friends, coworkers, I'm eating a lot of crow right now, dude. Like, I'm standing on the rooftops. The sun's coming up, and I'm roostering. Yeah, dude. I talked so much crap about Jimmy G, and now I have to support the man until I don't. But look, I'm meh. I'm meh. I'm not blown away, but I wasn't looking to be blown away. I've said it from day one. Aaron Rodgers was too expensive. I mean, if they felt like that was the move, then do it. But I felt like, look what's going on right now. We still can't get a confirmation from Aaron Rodgers, at least to the point of recording this video. All signs are pointing to him going to the Jets, but that's not official, right? Tom Brady right out the gate, retired. I was game for Stiddy, but I think Garoppolo is a more experienced Stiddy. We didn't really exactly know. Yeah, he looked good against the Niners, and he looked meh against the Chiefs. He looked a little vulnerable and glassy himself, getting banged up, running around with his head cut off. I would have took him, though, because Whether it was Stiddy or whether it was Jimmy G, the baseline is you're talking bridge quarterback. His contract states it. What we're paying him states it. After 1 year, we could walk. 2 year, you're still sitting pretty good with his contract. That third year is non-existent, in my opinion. I believe they have a plan. What that is, we don't know. I'm assuming that they have targeted X amount of quarterbacks in this draft, but I don't think they're going to go crazy and push for them, right? I think that's why Jimmy G's contract's lined up the way that it is. If they're able to land an AR-15 or a Levis, if that's what they choose to do, then Garoppolo may be here a year, depending on their development, right? If it's AR-15, 2 years, right? If it's Levis, maybe one. That contract suits the Raiders to be able to move on 1 to 2 years. I mean, I'm not talking about Jimmy G, the injury-prone quarterback. I'm not talking about, his failures of accuracy at times, which all quarterbacks are most of the time. And the crap that I used to give the Niner fans is the Super Bowl stuff, the debacles, the winning the game with only 6 passes thrown, yada, 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 yada. All of that stands true. If you're excited and pounding the table thinking Jimmy G is taking us to the promised land, again, there goes your optimism not meeting reality. That's not the thing. He is here to move this team forward culturally, offensive-mindedly, right? He is there to run this offense and to bring up the next apparent for Josh McDaniels. Period. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. It's just the reality of it, right? If they don't get their guy in the first round, which it's a 50-50 shot, and that's if they've targeted one of those two mentioned quarterbacks, Richardson or Levis, then they accept it. Then they're cool. If they're targeting Hendon Hooker in the second round and they do not get him, they're cool. If there's somebody after that, then fine. I'm sure they'll draft it regardless. I think they'll draft somebody, right? But at the end of the day, Jimmy G is just that guy that's holding that spot until the next heir apparent is ready. Diggler said, we might not have our answer this year. Meaning there's someone in college that they're targeting that they think if all this doesn't work out, we'll sit and wait. We'll sell the ship next year, and we'll focus this year on trying to do our best to set this team up for the future. Before I move on, okay, so basically my thoughts on Jimmy G, dude, I'm not screaming. I'm not running up the streets. I'm not going to go hang myself either. Like, it is what it is. He's a bridge guy. This ain't our franchise future quarterback. You're talking 1-2 years tops. That third year is irrelevant to me. If Jimmy G is our quarterback in year 3, then maybe we have a definite problem depending on who we draft, right? If we get somebody like Will Levis, for example, like I just mentioned, he may be ready year 2. He may even be ready this year. And here's the thing. You don't think Jimmy G knew that when he signed that contract? You don't think Jimmy G knew that he is not the long-term answer? The contract states that he signed it anyway, just like DC did last year. DC knew what was on the table. DC had his option out of it too, and he was in control, and it is what it is. We didn't get nothing, yada, 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 yada. I don't want to talk too much more about the quarterback. It is what it is. He is not here long-term, so it is what it is. We'll see. If he could produce, cool. If not, well, we have someone else come in. We just don't know who that young guy is yet. Believe that. All right, so let's go to the next one. Jacoby Myers. He lit us up last year, and he also won us the game, right? And we have to talk about a tight end that we just lost, so maybe Chandler Jones will become the tight end, and Jacoby Myers will throw a pass to him this year for a touchdown. I don't know. That's just me being facetious. But honestly, I think Hunter's gone. He plays Hunter's position. He's not your number 2 wide receiver. I don't see them trying to move him to be that. I really don't. I think they have till Friday. There's something about Friday and Hunter Renfro's contract. I think that we should look out for that. I think we should be trying to figure that out as we move forward. But I think Hunter's gone too, which, again, what does that mean to me? I think that this is I'm going to say it. It's a kind of a rebuild. It's kind of a rebuild. I don't know how else to say it. And it's funny because I see everybody, like I said, here we go, gaslighting, right? Throw that match right on the gas, let it light up, let the heat burn. Burn, baby, burn. At the end of the day, This is what we're dealt with. This is what we have on the table. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is what's happening. And if you all remember, okay, we're like $30 million in dead cap money. They're clearing waste. They're setting themselves up. Like he said, he's going to think long term. And here's the big disclaimer that I haven't mentioned yet. Trust me, on some of these moves, maybe not every single thing they do, they're picking up the phone and saying, Mr. Davis, Mr. Davis. There's a conversation that had to be had before all this was implemented. They wanted to know, hey, what is the guidelines here? And I think that's one of the reasons why they went with Jimmy G, because I think Mark's like, do what you got to do, but you got to make us competitive. And I think these moves at least keeps us competitive. It's not going to win us the Nobel Prize for GM of the year or anything like that right off the gate. We'll have to wait for everything to play out. But as of right now, this is what we're dealing with. But at the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, they are rebuilding this team, retooling this team, and I don't see the clear picture yet. I don't. Why do I say that? Darren Waller was traded for a third-round pick, and everybody's worried about the third-round pick and where that third-round pick came from, and that it's the 100th pick. It's a waste of a pick. Look, that pick is still a first within the first 3 rounds. You're going to get a player. It might not be the fancy, blow it up, start right now type player, or they could package multiple picks to move up to ensure that get like a Hendon Hooker or maybe someone else that they target early in the third, late in the second, whatever. Some of these picks could be used for insurance policy. Look for Hunter Renfrow to be moved for around the same price, maybe another third-round pick. So now we'll have multiple third-round picks to move up, to move around, to try to get maybe the Hendon Hooker pick. I'm not saying that we're targeting Hendon Hooker. We're not. Or maybe we package that up and go in the late first round and get another defensive player. Guys, let's not, don't worry about how much this offense is being blown up, because all I've heard since last season is that we put way too much money into this offense. Way too much money. Not enough money in the defense. We're an unbalanced football team. And now they're shedding the fat. They're restructuring some things. They're moving some things around. They're trying to make this team more balanced. And guess what? That comes at a price. That means you're not going to have a star-studded cast on the offensive side of the ball like we did last year. And is that concerning to me? 100%. Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that we had all these weapons. But let's make no mistake about it. We still have Devontae Adams. Jacoby Meyer is a very good red zone, all-around slot wide receiver that can run all the routes. He knows the system. He'll go exactly where he needs to go. Him and Jimmy G should link up pretty quickly. We still have Josh Jacobs, who may or may not get a contract when this is all said and done, to be the hero, so to speak. We got plenty of young running backs behind him to make an impact. We might be a little short on the defensive or the tight end position, but I think they're going to bring in guys that can truly block. It's too early. The year hasn't even kicked off yet. There'll be tight ends coming in to make a difference. We're not going to have the flashy Darren Waller, but can anybody tell me the last time that Darren Waller has lived up to the hype? It's been a long time. There was one point I would have been pounding this table telling you that Darren Waller was the man. Darren Waller was a top 3 tight end in the NFL. And then till he wasn't. And now he's up there in age. He's no Kelsey. He is no Kittle. I'm sorry. He's just not living up to that hype. Does he have the potential to still be that? Yeah, sure. But for how long? If they had an option to move on, save some money, we're gonna really benefit. Maybe not even next year, but the year after that, if they can just get competitive and start heading in the right direction, in a couple of years, our salary cap for the first time, especially from a dead cap perspective, is going to be nice. Think about that. We're all excited that we have $30 million still, give or take. I'm not doing the math right now. We're around the $25 million after the trade with Waller, $25 million, $30 million in dead cap this year. Could you imagine if we had that? The Patriots, because we hate how we're trying to beat the Patriots right now have $1 million in dead cap money. So they have all this money tied up into players that are actually playing football. Makes sense to me. In order to get there, you have to make these tough decisions. And by the way, Jacoby Meyer came in for less than what he was projected to around the league. All right. Jimmy G's contract is an average contract for a man of his stature, period. We did not overpay. We're not going out. Well, we didn't get Hargrave. We didn't get Payne. We didn't get so-and-so, XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3. Like, it don't matter. We're not overpaying these guys either. We're not acting like the desperate housewife out there trying to find a man that's going to take care of them. All right. Our president of the organization is a woman and showing how it's done. You want something, you do it yourself. You go out there and you do it the right way. That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. And I hope I didn't offend anybody because that wasn't meant to sound the way maybe it did, but it is what it is. I'm tired of being the desperate team. Number one thing that I've taken from this whole thing thus far, and I got to get out of here, but the last thing I want to say, here's the best thing out of what I've seen so far, is the fact that everybody's upset, that nobody is optimistic, that everybody is shaking their head, is scratching their head, pounding the table, because year after year after year, all I hear, myself included, so I'm not putting anybody down. I've been there, done that. I'm not going to sit here and act like I haven't. That, oh, wow, we did this, we did that, Super Bowl bound, baby, here we go. Everybody's still living in the past. Everybody's still looking into the future. And it's all the same thing. For the first time in a long time, I'm glad we're pissed. I'm glad we're pissed. Be upset. But we'll wait for when optimism meets reality. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. And until next time, stay Raider strong. Night out.